Now that we have our game working, there is something I have to tell you. Let me show you. If I start the game again and I lose in purpose, right, and I start again, so we can see that if I try to hit those blocks, I am hitting them, but there are some like others blocks still there. Can you see? So that's because when we reinitiate the level in our code, I'm just cleaning the bricks. This array is where I'm saving the boxes that I create to show the bricks. That's fine, but remember that when I create a mesh or a box, those are added to this scene, and we are rendering everything it's inside or set in this scene. So even if I'm clearing the bricks here just to start over again, I need to get rid of all those meshes or materials or all those actors that I don't need in this scene. In this case, I have to tell you about three important functions of the meshes. So far, I have been using, when I have a collision, I have been using a property that is visible, and if a brick is visible, I'm gonna try to check if I have a collision with that. If it's not visible anymore, then I will continue with the other, and so on, right? So let me explain you this. In Babylon, for the meshes, we have those three properties. I have been using it visible. If I set that to false, I will hide the mesh, right? I will hide. It's still there. It's just something that I'm not gonna show in the camera, but it's still there. So I'm keeping that there. And on my logic, if it's visible, then I'm gonna try to interact with that, and I'm gonna check for a collision, right? We have another function that is set enable. If I set enable to false, I'm gonna disable completely from the scene. Nothing will interact with that, right? If your logic is a little bit different, we can use also the set enable just to try and to verify if we have a collision with between a ball and the brick. And finally, I have a dispose. The dispose will destroy the mesh of this scene. This is what we need in order to clean all the breaks when reinitiate the game. I need to get rid of all of the old bricks that I have in the previous game, right? So in this case, if I go to the code, when I init the game, I'm not just gonna clean from my array. To get rid of the objects that are still in the scene before I create the new ones is with the dispose method. But in order to dispose them, I need to retrieve all those objects need to be deleted, and then I need to get rid of them. For that, I'm gonna create a new array, bricks to dispose, because I'm gonna create new ones here in the creation, and this is an array, right? So I'm gonna get all the meshes from the scene for const mesh of scene.meshes. I'm gonna get the mesh instance, but I'm gonna check the name of that. If the name has an ID or name of box, which is the ID I'm passing here when I create a brick, and this should be brick actually, right? So if my mesh of all the meshes is brick, I'm gonna save that to the bricks to dispose. And once I have all those bricks that I want to dispose, I can get rid of them. In this case, bricks to dispose, that for each. That's a different way to do it. And I'm gonna pass a parameter here. Well, this is not actually a brick, but also a mesh. Let me change that so you can understand that better. Dispose. So once I retrieve all the brick meshes here from the scene, I'm gonna get rid of them because many of them should be already hidden, but then I'm gonna create new ones. I can just remove the or change the is visible state for that, but I want to show you this way in the case you have a level with a bunch of objects and you want to clean a little bit the scene. So this is a method we used, like I showed you on the tree method before. In the two properties, we have two methods and one property. So you can use set enable, dispose, or just is enabled to false or to true depending on what you want, right? You just need to play with those properties. In this case, for an example, I'm going to use dispose because I'm going to create new bricks later, right? This isn't the case if they exist. If this game init is just executed the first time, this won't be happening because I don't have any brick at all. This is just the second time and so on. So if I have a brick, I'm gonna get rid of that and then I'm gonna execute that method. I'm gonna do it that way because I just call this function here. It will change the scene meshes and it will just delete a few ones, but not all of them. That's why we need to first retrieve all the meshes we want to dispose and then we can dispose them. If I go to the code now and I'll go to the browser, npm run to the game init. If I open the localhost 8080, so this is our game. I'm gonna lose in purpose. Game over, right? That's fine. And if I start again, if you remember, after I was having some meshes still here, but not now. So every time we start the game or we re-init the game again, I am deleting the old meshes and I'm creating new ones, and that's it. That way we can won, and that's everything for that. We can say that the game is already done. From on the logic, it should work fine, but now we need to add some textures for that.